So this is PSXTAL, PS Crystal. It's just an Arduino. That's a Nano 168P clone. And what that's doing is there's your reset line here. I got that alternate reset point off Will's console mods, so thank you. I didn't have to trace that one out myself. Would have just come off here, I'm guessing. The reset button. And here we have this little PCB, which it was actually specifically designed for this particular revision of PU18. There's another PU18 revision, which seems to be more common, where there's two chips over here instead of this one. And that won't fit there like that on that model. I actually did have to cut the top plate out a little bit to mount it there because it's a couple millimeter too high. I've got a 5502 that I use as a personal console, where I just mount it on top of the plate and poke the wires through the hole. But anyway, that's your original power crystal there, pulled off the board. That's your NTSC one. The crystals on here, the SMD ones do run at 3.3, and that's a 5 volt crystal. But the 3.3 crystal has no issue running at 5, and the 5 volt crystal has no issue running off 3.3. At the moment, I've got them both running off 5 from just up here. I think there's another 5 volt point there. There's probably more around. And then your wiring down here is on the GitHub. It's just using the SPI communication protocol, which the PlayStation uses a modified version of. So you've just got your data line, which is controller to PlayStation readings, going up to MISO on D11. I think it's D11. Yeah, D11. No, that's MOSI, master out, slave in, sorry. So data on here to master out, slave in on here, which is D11. And then your attention line, which is just your slave select, goes to D10, and then your clock goes to D13. And then the way it's currently set up in the source file is 2 and 3 for the crystals to power either one. It doesn't matter which one's which. They go to the outside pins here. The middle one's for if you want to use a manual switch, so leave that blank. That's got 3.3 on it to either swing it to that side or this side. And 4 is your reset, which I pointed out before. So it's simple to install. A few wires. It's not the neatest installation. Use the diagrams to get these points. I actually fried 2 Arduinos on this because I'd previously only done my personal console, and I wired that on the top plate, as I mentioned, directly to the back of the controller board. And then I've done PU8s, which were no issue, where I've traced them out to the board. But when I was tracing this one out, I forgot that the pins don't go from 1 to 9, they go from 1 to 9 from right to left. So I actually ended up hooking up 7.6 volts to 2 Arduinos before I noticed it was getting burning hot, and I fried them both. But yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's just an Arduino, and it does your in-game reset short and long pulse, and it does your NTSC and Power 60. I'll be making another dual region mod eventually to cover the later models, PU20 plus, which is here in Australia, the SCPH 7002. But yeah, so this one's for a customer. I've got another one to do after this. But yeah, I just want to hold that at the screen. This is a PVM through RGB, so you're not going to notice down there the resolution change, but you will see the screen flicker. So on this one, I've just got it set to all the controller types, only in digital mode. Hold these buttons, screen, and that just changed modes. And it's programmed to store the last video mode in the EEPROM and check it on boot, and it will just retrieve that last video mode and then initialize the correct crystal each time you turn it on. So it's got a memory. You won't need to flick it back to NTSC every time you boot up, which is normally what you're going to be using. And then flick it back. And that's about it. You can change the source file if you want. It's open source. Do what you want with it. But I've got it set up on this controller for, I think it short resets these 3, and then longs all 4, or vice versa. It's been a while since I looked at the source. But at the moment, I've got it set to have to hold this for quite a while. You can adjust that. It's just to make sure you don't accidentally press this combination of buttons in a fighting game or something and trigger a reset. But yeah, there it goes. It's reset. So yeah, cheap way to do a dual region and in-game reset. Arduinos are only a few bucks. But yeah, that's it.